Fresh off a heist of the Ashways nomads, the Chaos Cult group Affliction revels at a local hideout. Fires burn in adoration of the Blood God. In the shadows, however, the howling banshees of House Escher prepare to attack. You're watching Necromunda on MGM, a great place for casual gaming. Welcome to Ashes of Acropolis, presented by MGM. We're playing through Week 3, and House Escher sits at 0-2, while the Helot Cultists are at 1-1. It's an important game for both factions as we hit the midpoint of the season. We'll be trying to incorporate the new rules, so be on the lookout for those. Now let's get down to Yak and an update on House Escher. With only 30 credits, Lilith, the Death Maiden, purchases a stem hyper elixir. The Queen, Sable, adds some toxic ammo to her needle pistol that paralyzes her opponents in the event they are injured. They depart with 7 active fighters worth 960 credits. The Chaos Cult Affliction comes in relatively healthy in this one. With no roster changes, they bank their 85 credits and depart with 8 active fighters worth 935 credits. Today's scenario is Stealth Attack from the Book of Outcast. House Escher will be our attacker today as they have snuck into the heart of another gang's settlement. The battlefield is our standard 3x3 on a skirmish mat today. House Escher will have all fighters on the board. The cultists will have random 5 sentries plus reinforcements. Tactics cards are custom too. House Escher selects Mistress of Death and Rain of Blades. The cultists select Seize the Initiative and Click. For deployment, the defender will set up sentries anywhere on the battlefield while the attacker deploys within 2 inches of a battlefield edge, and at least 6 inches from any defenders and within 12 inches of all other friendly fighters. House Escher will have a secret agenda in this one to be revealed at the start of the game. The battle ends when only one gang has fighters remaining on the battlefield, or if House Escher completes their secret objective. Victory goes to House Escher if they complete their objective, or they are the last gang standing. Otherwise, victory will go to the cultists today. We are ready for match 13. Really appreciate you watching. Turn 1 is coming up next. And with sentries deployed, House Escher comes in on a board edge. They will be looking to ransack as their special objective, having to get to the opposite board edge and back with some loot caskets. House Escher does win priority, and the Death Maiden moves up with both of her actions getting out of line of sight. A sentry attempts to activate. Now you have to pass a leadership check. That does fail, and Chum is going to be moved by House Escher away from the action. For House Escher, the sister Trist is just going to move forward to the corner of the building. Angmar is going to activate as a sentry, has a leadership of 6. 2d6 is a pass, and he is going to move inside of the building here. House Escher is going to activate Pixie. She'll use both of her actions to move. The cultist attempting to activate Angmar again. He does pass that leadership check, and he makes a simple move. Now getting to within line of sight, he is going to try to spot one of the House Escher gang. He needs a 5-up with her being in cover. That ends up failing. House Escher, recognizing they are now in trouble, they do move the Queen Sable forward, and she is going to target Angmar with her needle pistol. She base hits on a 3, partial cover takes it to a 4. This is silent. She hits Angmar and takes a successful toxin roll. AP1 puts him on a 6-up save. That is going to fail. He goes down. A serious injury is rolled, and then he has to take a strength test or he will become webbed, and that strength test is going to be successful. And with these updated rules, Angmar screams as he goes down, and the alarm is raised. Turn 1 comes to an immediate close, and we'll take a bottle check for the cultist. They do have home turf advantage, so rolling 2d6 and discarding the highest, that is going to be passed. We roll recovery for Angmar, and per the new rules, he stays down with a serious injury and takes a flesh wound. The cultists roll up for a reinforcement, and the Disciple 9 will make an appearance on the board. Priority rolls for turn 2 go out with the cultist up. The cultist did roll up a 3+, and they were able to place 9, and he is going to come in on the board edge, immediately target Lilith. 9 has her within 20 inches. Rapid Fire 2 just needs 3s, and he misses with the heavy stubber. The Death Maiden extremely fortunate on that one. We move over to House Escher, where Sable the Queen announces a charge into Angmar. She is going to check up short, however. Angmar activates next, operating on a toughness of 2. It just crawls, attempting to get as far away as possible from the Escher gang and out of line of sight. The Death Maiden, with her Hyper Stem, has a base of 8 inches, comes screaming up the board towards 9. Cultists on the opposite side of the board scramble to get to their comrades. Flea attempts to jump down here. He ends up failing an initiative test and falls, becoming pinned. He takes a Strength 3 hit, and there's no wound. We move back over to House Escher. Trist now has a feel for range. She moves up with her first action and targets 9. She's going to fire with her last gun. Needs her ballistic skill of 4s to hit. He is in the open. A shot cracks from the last gun, and that is going to hit. He'll go down pinned. Needs 4s to wound, and that is going to do a wound. He's got a 5-up save with his mesh armor. He fails and takes a wound. Back to the Cultists, we have Dog, who tries to jump down, takes an initiative check. He ends up failing, and he falls as well. Takes a Strength 3 hit, needs 4s to wound. No wound, but he is pinned. The little sister Terra is going to use both of her actions to move, giving a screen for Trist. We've got Chum that's going to activate. He's going to use both actions to move, trying to get into an Overwatch position. Pixie activates next, uses both of her actions to move, trying to get up the center of the board and apply some pressure. And next we've got Bosk that is going to activate. He is going to move, scope things out, and then use another action to move as well, trying to get into a better firing position. The Matriarch Cirrus for House Escher is going to use both of her actions to move, trying to keep out of line of sight. Remaining moves belong to House Escher, and we've got Jax, another sister with a plasma gun. She is moving forward into cover. Turn 2 comes to a close. The Cultists kind of off on the back foot in this one as Angmar is down on a toughness of 2. 9 is pinned, and numerous Cultist fighters are scrambling to get into position. Bottle check for the Cultists with home turf advantage, and that's going to be good. Recovery roll for Angmar coming out. He succumbs to his injuries going out of action. D66 rolls out, yellow being the first number, 42, which is partially deafened. This doesn't mean anything for now unless he is deafened again. 2 reinforcements come on the board. They roll up double 1s, and House Escher gets to place them all the way on the opposite side of the board. We've got priority rolls coming out for turn 3, and it is going to stay with the Cultist. And the first to act in this one will be Chum with his long rifle. He is going to aim down to a ballistic skill of 3. He does have an infiltrate, so with all modifiers 4s to hit, and he is targeting Cirrus. He does strike her, an ammo check is required, and that's going to be successful. 3s are required at strength 4, and that's good. She's knocked up against the wall. AP1 cuts through her flak. It does 2 damage, so an injury die comes out, and she goes out of action. Lasting injury roll is a 24, which is out cold. Cool checks are going to be taken, and we've got Trist that's going to fail, and then we have Terra, the little sister, that will pass. Trist becomes broken, loses her ready marker, and runs 2d6 for cover. As we move over to House Escher, Pixie is going to use an action to move into position, and she is going to target Bosk across the way, who is in partial cover. Short range with her last gun will offset that, so she'll hit on her ballistic skill, which is 4. She strikes the target. It will be 4s to wound, strength 3 against toughness 3, and that does a wound. Bosk takes an initiative check, and that's good. He doesn't fall, but he does fail his 6-up armor save, and an injury die will come out for him, and he's going down with a serious injury. With both sides trading fire in this one, Dog gets to his feet, fires with his reclaimed auto gun. Ballistic skill is 4, but he needs a 5 to hit Pixie due to partial cover. That shot's going to miss. Next we have the little sister, Terra, using both of her actions to move. Flea then activates for the Cultist. He moves to the edge here, attempts to jump off, passes his initiative check, and continues his move. As we go back to House Escher, 9 is in a really tough spot here. He's got the Death Maiden rolling in on him. She base moves 8. She does get a bonus with that stem elixir she has. She charges into contact, easily making it, and 9 stands to fight her. This is an out of line of sight charge, and she does suffer a -1 for the elixir, so she'll be hitting on 4s. She gets a terrific roll on 5 dice. All of them hit. She then rolls for Toxin. Getting to reroll 1s for Poison Blood, she is going to convert all of these but 1. The Venom Claw's AP2, the only save he gets is against the Needle Pistol at AP1. That fails, and he is going out of action. The D66 is a 53, which is a head injury that will send him into recovery. The Tactics card, Mistress of Death, is played, allowing her to become ready again. On the opposite side of the board, we've got the Cultist activating Jack as he uses both actions to move to the door. Lilith, the Death Maiden, activates again, moving quickly with both actions. Another Disciple with Heavy Stubber, Ocelot, moves with both actions. House Escher activates the Queen Sable, who uses both actions to move to the bottom of the ladder. We've then got Bosk attempting to crawl to get into cover. Remaining moves belong to House Escher, as we've got a Plasma Gun moving forward. Jax fires downrange, needing a 5. She connects rapid fire with a Plasma Gun, targeting Dog. Needs 3s to wound at Strength 5, 2 wounds. AP1 will cut through his flak armor, 4 injury dice come out, and he goes out of action. The Cultists do play Click, 55 on the lasting injuries table. And that is a potential capture to be figured out at the end of the game. Turn 3 comes to a close, and what a turn it was for House Escher, all guns on fire in that turn. The Cultists do find themselves really on the back foot in this one. Bottle check is going to be good. House Escher will have to take a bottle check here as well, and they are going to pass. We do take a recovery roll for Bosk. He will stay down with a serious injury and take a flesh wound. A rally attempt from Trist is going to be failed, and we are getting ready for turn 4. Priority rolls for turn 4 coming out, staying with the Cultist. And from up top again, Chum is going to attempt to fire down with his long rifle, targeting Pixie. He aims and has an in for sight. He strikes her. She goes down pinned, but there is no wound. Next we have the Queen Sable announcing a charge into Chum from out of line of sight, so this will put her at a -1 to hit with her Shock Whip. She does make it into versatile range with her Shock Whip. She now hits on 4s with that -1 modifier, and she does get quite a few 6s. These call Shock, which are auto wounds. For the ones that don't auto wound, she does need 3s to wound. Just the 2 auto wounds that go through. Chum will fail his flak armor saves, and he goes down seriously injured. Chum also takes a flesh wound, and we move over to the Cultist, where Bosk is going to attempt to crawl, just trying to force some more moves out of House Escher here. The Howling Banshees are up on the activations. They do activate Terra. She uses both of her actions to move. We then go back to Flee. He uses both of his actions to move, getting to the doorway here. House Escher activates Pixie next, and she continues to be broken, making a 2d6 run for cover. We've then got Jack. He opens the door, firing a frag grenade down at Lilith, targeting the ground beside her. This will be a -2 to hit now. Grenade launcher fires a frag grenade, ends up missing, and that is going to scatter, and it's going to scatter and just miss Lilith and Terra. Over for the Howling Banshees, we have Jax moving twice. Her Plasma Gun out of ammo, can't be reloaded. We've then got Ocelot. He is going to use his actions to just sink back a little bit, trying not to give Lilith any high priority targets. We've then got Pixie dropping back to cover the doorway. Lilith is then going to use both of her actions to move, shooting up the board, getting ready to take out Bosk on the next turn. And with turn 4 concluded, we do roll a bottle test here, but the Cultists have elected to flee the battlefield. House Escher is going to be good on their bottle test. We do roll for recovery to see what happens. Bosk, who actually stays down, takes another flesh wound. Chum will roll back over with a flesh wound, but not going to matter a lot in this one as the Helot Cultists have elected to run. We do see a rally from Trist in the end phase, giving her an XP, and that's going to bring this one to a close. Now with Dog potentially being captured, he needs a 4-up, but there's a -2 modifier because they lost. He does fail this, and he becomes captured by the ladies of House Escher. Bosk does not succumb to his wounds. He is able to get up and get off the board. House Escher with a dominating win in this one. They're going to improve to 1 and 2. The Cultists will fall to 1 and 2. And we've got the post-game report coming up next. Alright, welcome to the post-game. House Escher taking a dominating victory in this one. A few things putting the Cultists at a disadvantage in this one being the scenario with sentries. They did have to deploy kind of scattered across the board, trying to cover as many angles as possible with only 5 fighters. One of the critical moments in the game was turn 2 when 9 came onto the board and missed the Death Maiden with his heavy stubber. That was an opportunity to really put a hurt on House Escher, and he just needed 3s to hit. That turned into a critical miss, and the following turn, both of the Cultist fighters came in. They were placed by House Escher on the complete opposite side of the board due to both rolling 1s. House Escher shooting was really good as 9 went down to a last gun at long range, Bosk went down to a last gun, and Dog was captured due to a shot from a plasma gun needing 5s. Overall, an interesting scenario. I don't have any problems with the way that the game played out, and quite frankly, with a few of those key turning points going the other way, it could have been a different game. But that's of course why we roll the dice. In this one, House Escher will take 50 credits for their efforts today. Cirrus was found out cold. The Cultists will get 25 credits and had numerous injuries and a capture to report. In this one, we did try to incorporate the new 2023 core rules update. If you saw anything, feel free to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about the game. The channel continues to grow, and I do want to say thank you so much for that. The Supporters Club, your names are flashing on the screen now, as well as on a piece of our terrain somewhere that has all been updated. If you'd like to support the channel in any way, become a channel member, do a tip through coffee, a link will be down in the description below. You can also find some pretty cool merch and swag down there as well with all of our affiliate links. I do not ask for anything as far as channel support goes. It's totally optional. Quite frankly, if you've watched the video this far, you've done more than enough to support the channel. Coming up next in episode 14, we've got a classic match between the Corpse Grinder cult and the Enforcers, and we will see you then. Take care.